A year after so many tried to flee the country from here, I land at Kabul airport. Shortages have become a hallmark of life in Afghanistan. Public spaces are deserted, women particularly rare. Striking, too, the absence of faces, especially ones that are clean-shaven Western style. No more jeans or sneakers. Above all, there is the absence of jobs and therefore of customers. There is food, but few can afford it. Until a year ago, around half the economy ran on international aid. Those funds are sadly missed. This is one of the last cash machines in Kabul. It no longer works. There's no stopping globalization. With very little left to celebrate, fun and laughter are almost non-existent. Music's gone too. There's a lack of open schools, a lack of prospects. I wanted to know how the people of Afghanistan are faring, so I talked to Ministry of Foreign Affairs spokesman Abdul Kaha Balhi, the face the Taliban show the world.
Please do clean up.
No, it's terrible. Cleaned up offices are the worst. We want reality.
You want reality, but you're going to make me look bad. I don't want to make you look
I'm
bad.
not going to make you look bad.
You better not do the tilt shot. Whatever you do, don't do the tilt shot.
What's a tilt shot? Oh. How are the people in Afghanistan doing?
The people of Afghanistan are adjusting to the new environment and the new situation. There's always room for improvement, but this is a new era, it's a new reality. And the people of Afghanistan, being as resilient as they are to go through 40 years of conflict, are doing okay.
Why are things in this country so extreme?
These terms, extremes, liberal, this and that, they are very subjective for one person. Something could be very extreme. For example, for us, it is very extreme for women to be walking around in bikinis in the streets. It is very extreme. The population is 99% Muslim. They have accepted Islam of their own volition. No one has forced Islam on anyone. What we are enacting, or what we are advocating, or what we want Afghanistan to be is an Islamic society. We are not imposing alien ideologies. We're not imposing alien ideas on people. The West tried to transform this society in their own mirror image. It failed miserably. Let the Afghans heal. Let them have at least 4 decades of peace and stability. Do they not deserve a chance at life? Do they not deserve a chance at peace, a chance at stability? Or do we always have to be a carbon copy of either the eastern states or the western states? Why does Afghanistan not have the right to represent itself as a sovereign and free state?
Since 1979, the year I was born, Afghanistan has not known true peace, even though the war is over now. The Taliban had already ruled the country from 1996 to 2001 with repressive methods. Now, in power once again, how are they managing the transition from fighting to governing? How are they taking care of the Afghan people? Two days ago, there have been heavy floods in the province of Wardak, 3 hours from Kabul. 3 villages depend on this hospital. Even the birth registry got wet.
This is the new one.
The provincial officials are here to see for themselves.
Unfortunately, we had floods 2 nights ago. They destroyed the entire valley. We had an emergency meeting, and today the governor will come here too. We need to assess the situation and ask for international help.
So far, no help has come. I meet Safiullah, who is left with nothing. He shows me what used to be his home. Only one well is left in the village for drinking water. Not enough for everybody.
You can see it, It
used to be so beautiful here. If you'd seen it, you would have fallen in love with the place. Nature, the trees, it was all so beautiful. My friends and relatives regularly spent their holidays here.
It's full of flood.
And the wall here is also...
Yeah, this wall, yeah.
Swooshed away.
Yeah.
For months now, the region has been hit by violent floods. The soil has been dry for years, far too dry. Now it just gets washed away.
For the 2 days we work, and we just make this way to our rooms.
was all full?
Yeah, all full.
So this is already cleaned up?
Yeah, just clean up for the past 2 days.
Wow.
Just we work on that.
Everything Safiullah had either was ruined or swept away.
The water was really high. Nobody could save a thing, not even a glass. Now there's nowhere for us to spend the night. The chickens have all gone too, and the mattresses are wet.
For years, living in another province, Safiullah hardly ever went out. There were shootings every day. He tried to find a new home in Europe until he was deported.
I wanted to give my family a better life here, but it didn't work out. Back then, they told me that living in Afghanistan wasn't risky.
How will life go on? Safiullah has no idea. There is an old Afghan saying, people don't age according to the numbers of years they have lived, but according to what they have gone through. One of the most urgent problems in Afghanistan is the return of hunger. These women are begging for bread. They spend hours waiting outside the bakery, hoping their children won't have to go to bed hungry again. Everything's getting more expensive. Here they try to keep prices reasonable.
No NGO is helping these women. Nobody is. Only local people sometimes do. The number of women waiting outside our bakery every day has increased.
These men are also waiting for work. Since foreign military forces left and international funding ceased, jobs have been scarce. More and more men now seek work as day laborers. There would be enough food, but only few can afford it. Prices have risen dramatically, and with no cold storage available, fruit and vegetables don't stay fresh for very long. Goods from abroad come via Arab countries and are virtually unaffordable. An energy drink costs 200 Afghani, as much as 10 loaves of bread. The poorest families in the region are waiting in line here, selected by the World Food Programme with the help of village elders. We meet a former officer of the National Directorate of Security waiting for food.
There's no hope to find a job. If you have someone in the organization, maybe he supports you to introduce yourself as to become shortlisted. But for me, as an Indian officer, the NGOs, they will not hire me because it will make a problem for them.
Every second human being in Afghanistan is dependent on aid. The United Nations are preventing a humanitarian catastrophe, but for how much longer? Further west, there are floods, but here, the center of the country has suffered from droughts for years.
Because of the drought, I only harvest a quarter of what I used to.
In the countryside, Mohammad Alem says life under the Taliban has hardly changed. Some things even got better.
It became a lot safer here. Under the last government, there was corruption and robberies were common.
Life outside Afghanistan, he says, is better. Mohammad Alem's son and his brothers have emigrated to Germany, Canada, and Australia.
Their lives are better than ours. They all have got well-paid jobs, and in general, they live better lives than we do here in Afghanistan. They always sound positive when we talk.
اونجا مصروف کار هستن، وقتشون خوب هستن، اقتصادشون خوب هستن.
The many years of fighting in Afghanistan have left their traces, like this crater, or this one. The white rocks indicate this area is cleared of mines. 20 years ago, towards the end of their first leadership, the Taliban destroyed ancient statues of the Buddha that were up to 53 meters high. The site became a symbol of suppression and absence of religious freedom. It is thought that most Afghans follow Sunni Islam, but no one knows for sure whether Shia Muslims really are a minority. It's not even clear how many people live in Afghanistan. In the evening, I'm allowed to experience Ashura. This solemn day of mourning is the most important religious festival for Shia Muslims.
With this ritual, we mourn the grandson of our prophet. The flagellation is part of the mourning.
Shia Muslims are no strangers to suffering. They were attacked in the past and are under attack today, first and foremost by the so-called Islamic State.
در سالهای گذشته ما انتحاری زیاد بود. ما نمیفهمیم کی انتحاری میکردن.
Over the last few years, there have been lots of attacks. The situation is a bit better now. We get on well with the Taliban.
Since there is no more fighting in Afghanistan, now fewer people are being killed or injured or abducted. It is again safe to drive a car to Bamiyan province. For a long time, this route was far too dangerous. Nature, picture perfect, could have come from the brush of an artist. The Bande Amia National Park is drawing tourists once again. The best hotels are fully booked. Afghanistan's upper class spend their holidays here. On her weekend trip with family, I meet Mariam Nabizada, an eye specialist at the state hospital.
We all used to work together. Now men and women have to work separately. It's extremely complicated.
For over a year now, Mariam Nabizada's thoughts have centered mainly on her daughter's education.
They're 9 and 10 years old. It's not certain they'll be able to go to school. That's a real concern for me. No education is not an option. If women are no longer allowed to learn in Afghanistan, we will leave the country. In our family, we are all academics.
Leaving wouldn't be easy for her. She loves Afghanistan.
The Holy Quran says men and women both have the right to education.
But under the Taliban, girls' schools are closed after 6th grade. 13-year-old Nilap can't go to school. With her parents and her 6 siblings, she tried to escape to Iran. They sold everything they had in order to emigrate, but they were sent back. Now they lead an austere existence without running water.
I wanted to become a doctor or a teacher so that I could serve people. I really liked going to school. But since the Taliban came to power, I've been at home. I'd love for the school to be reopened.
Nilap misses her friends at school. When he gets home from school, her big brother teaches her what he has learned. It's better than nothing, Nilap says.
We didn't want the schools to close. We cried so much when they did.
Education for girls stopped more than a year ago. At the end of March, the Taliban announced that all schools would be reopened. Yet, for teenage girls, they remained closed. At the time, Tuba Walizada reported live on the situation.
At all of the 4 schools we visited, the girls were sent home again. When we saw girls in tears outside the school gates and realized that our doubts regarding the announcements were well-founded, we were really concerned. I wanted the young women's voices to be heard in the hope that something might change.
It takes courage to report on these issues. Tuba Walizada is brave.
مشکلات و سختی‌های خودت داره، چالش‌های خودت داره، ولی ما نمی‌خوایم استاپ کنیم، ما نمی‌خوایم که با اون ترسی که داریم.
There are problems, difficulties and dangers, but we will not stop. Every day something else is banned.
زمانی که من در مکتب‌ها میرم گزارش جور می‌کنم، دخترای مکتب از ما الگو می‌گیرن.
As long as we keep reporting, girls will find courage. And the courage they find is enough for me to continue, no matter how frightened I am.
دیگه خانم‌ها همین برای من کافی است. هر چقدر که ترسم داشته باشم میپذیرم.
There used to be quite a number of radio and TV stations here. Some were shut down. Music and entertainment are forbidden. News is still permitted. By far the biggest station in Afghanistan is Tolo News. Here men and women still work together. Hamid Azizi shows me the studio.
We are live every day from 7 a.m. till 12. 12 to 1 hour break. Then we are live from 12 to 11 at night.
And who is she?
She's a woman activist. Now she left the country, unfortunately.
Many people left Afghanistan, including 90% of the staff at Tolo News. Young journalists are trying to fill the gap. What is it like reporting under the Taliban? Khpolvak Sapai remembers that a year ago the Taliban announced media freedom and good conditions for independent reporting, but only part of the promise was kept. So once again we see what is missing, what is not said, what is not allowed to be said and can no longer be shown.
No longer permitting to show the faces of female journalists. As a practicing Muslim, I had questions. We all had questions.
Since Sunday, all women appearing on television are obliged to wear a mask.
The decision was it was not anything like pre-planned.
Ariana Sayed, Afghanistan superstar, fled from the Taliban. Today, shows like this are banned. The ban was supposed to happen very quietly and without explanation. But editor-in-chief Khpolvak Sapai personally reported about it.
I came here and I was taken from here to the cafeteria, but the reactions were international reactions. I mean, were very quick. I was on my way to the JD. The UN, UNAMA, just issued a tweet and the issue was that they release me soon.
Music is seductive. It could tempt people to dance and do who knows what else.
No more. No music, no entertainment shows. It's something completely different. Only news with some new regulations.
So has Afghanistan turned silent?
It is like that. Yeah.
In the meantime, Khpolvak Sapai has left Afghanistan. He never thought he would run away, with a heavy heart due to dramatic changes, as he puts it in the emails we've exchanged since. We're driving through Kabul. August 15th has been declared a national holiday. It celebrates the day the United States surrendered power and weaponry to the Taliban at the end of the longest war the US had ever fought.
Okay, one rule, you have to look at me. Okay.
Today we're celebrating the fact that Afghanistan is under our control. We defeated the occupiers physically and mentally, and now we are independent.
Faces that seem always grim now glow with pride. The ability to improvise here is essential, even at the UN. Markus Potzel's office is being reorganized. The former German ambassador to Afghanistan knows the country better than virtually any other Westerner. Today, he's the United Nations highest representative in Afghanistan. He meets regularly with high-ranking representatives of the de facto government.
Das hört sich immer alles sehr gut an. Das ist meistens auch eine sehr freundliche Atmosphäre.
As a rule, it all sounds reasonable. The atmosphere is friendly. But there is always a major gap between what the Taliban say and what they actually do.
Give me an example.
Natürlich ein sehr aktuelles Beispiel.
I can give you a very recent example. At the conference in Tashkent in July, the foreign minister said that there were no terrorist organizations active in Afghanistan and that there was no threat to any country emanating from Afghan soil. 3 days later, the head of Al-Qaeda was killed. There was clear proof that he was living here in Kabul. So there is a huge gap between what is said and actual reality.
Dann ist das eine gewaltige Diskrepanz zwischen dem, was gesagt wird und zwischen dem, was in der Realität passiert.
Markus Potzel speaks fluent Dari, for example in the studio of Tolo News.
Wir haben in Kumakro Pasch mitgenommen, Taksim mitgenommen, Bemadom. Das Land läuft Gefahr, sich zu isolieren, wenn sie diesen Weg, den sie jetzt eingeschlagen sind.
If the Taliban don't change the path they have taken, there is a danger of the country becoming isolated. It could cause instability and possibly even result in civil war. The impact of this on the region could result in streams of migrants of the kind we had in the years 2015 and 2016. If they don't see any prospects here, people will leave the country, not because they want to, but because they would be left with no alternative.
Nicht unbedingt wollen, sondern müssen, weil sie einfach keine Alternative haben.
The economic pressure is huge. The currency, the Afghani, has sunk. But the World Bank recently released a report saying customs and trade taxes are surprisingly high, mainly trade with Pakistan, selling a very basic product, coal. The price has almost doubled. Business is good, says Ahmad Khaled.
From that provinces, we get the cola and take it there, and from there we send it to other countries, Pakistan or other provinces.
30,000 Afghani per ton, around $350.
Other business are closed. This is the only business we can improve our economy. This is the good business for now.
That's the only business you actually build your economy on right now?
Right now, this is the only, yes.
Abdul Latif Nazari, Deputy Minister of Economics.
Our neighboring countries have depleted their resources. Ours are untouched. We have so many different types. Metals, gold, silver, all kinds of metals that are needed. God has given us here in Afghanistan. That's why so many countries are interested to invest in our minerals. We have not finalized any deal yet. China, Russia, Turkey, Pakistan, all of them are interested. Whoever will provide the maximum benefit for the Afghan public, we will finalize the deal with.
A couple of weeks after this interview, Russia signed an official trade agreement with the Taliban.
مسئله بعدی موقعیت ترانزیتی ماست که ما برش پلان داریم چون افغانستان از نظر موقعیت ترانزیتی بسیار یک موقعیت قوی دارد.
We also plan transit projects as Afghanistan is a node point connecting Central and South Asia with each other.
پروژه تاپی مثل جاده ابریشمی که چینایی‌ها علاقمند است یک بخش از
It would be like the Chinese Silk Road. The Chinese are interested as well.
پروژه جاده ابریشم یا یک جاده یک راه یک کمربند یک راهی که چینایی‌ها
The economic plan also involves food.
با این جان رومی که افغانستان داره در منطقه بی‌نظیر هست.
Our neighbors are keeping an eye on our farming. Especially Russia is interested. They import from Turkey now, but Afghanistan is closer and our quality is better. Turkey uses pesticide. We don't do that. Our fruits and vegetables are all organic. That's why everybody around is interested.
و گذشته ما نشان میده شما اگه گذشته افغانستان بخوانید گذشته
Traditional business has suffered in the past year.
Please, don't take off your shoes. Here we do the designing section.
This carpet factory is now owned and managed in the third generation. But who is able to leave Afghanistan does. Like Diljam Qasimi, he is now in Pakistan, waiting for visas for himself and his family for another place. Every once in a while, he comes back to Kabul to make sure everything is in order.
I thought that future is not right for my children. And I decided to move from country, and I left my country, and my children left the country, and they are now living in Pakistan, and I'm also living there. Sometimes I come only for, supervising the business.
He still clings to the hope that one day he and his family will be able to return.
We hope that the world community is still, pressurizing the current government to let the girls to go to school, and we hope that the world community will not forget Afghanistan, as they did several years ago. Still, we have this hope.
For 20 years, women, especially those in Kabul, were used to having an education and enjoying considerably more freedom. But for more than a year now, their rights are being trimmed more and more.
I had a lot of dreams, hopes. One day I became a back teacher here, and because the Taliban came here, because of this I came to study. If I sit at home, I will become crazy because every day I will think about this, that I can't, because I'm a girl. But instead of this, when I came in here, and also my situation changed, and also it means I help my family.
There is less and less fun and laughter. Ajmal rents out his horse, but few people come for joyrides.
It used to be better.
Looking for something fun to do, some mujahideen, how they call themselves, are visiting from the south.
This is our first time in Kabul. We had to work and now we wanted to see something nice, so we came here.
But very little nightlife is left in Kabul. One of few graffitis left outside the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Although they might want good relations with the rest of the world, so far, not a single country, not a single government has recognized the Taliban.
Our number one priority is peace, security, and stability. For the Western world, instead of understanding this aspect, or even trying to understand this aspect, they are focusing on issues which they themselves cannot resolve. I mean, they have problems in their own countries when it comes to human rights and women's rights and all these. I mean, they're at a stage where they cannot even define what a woman is. They are having, there's a very large discourse within the Western community, what a woman even actually is, what a man is. So they have their own problems, and we say, that's your internal problems, deal with them. We do not want to interfere. Do not interfere in our internal affairs. You tried foreign prescriptions when the Soviets came, and then the 20-year occupation, they tried different prescriptions, different methods, different priorities. It did not yield any results.
So what's the economic plan?
The economic architecture that was in place in Afghanistan was artificial, and it collapsed overnight. As soon as the foreign troops and foreign forces left and the occupation came to an end, the artificial economy collapsed with it. And now the government is trying to put in place policies to reach a level of self-sustainability and self-reliance.
Not everyone sees Afghanistan returning to its roots with the rules of the Taliban. This is not Islamic, they say. This is repression.
We would say that the laws that we're enacting as the government of Afghanistan are Islamic in every sense of the word. And we also accept and acknowledge that there will always be people in society, or any human society, not in Afghanistan, in any human society, that will disagree with the laws and the policies that the government enacts. In democracies, an individual who wins 51% of the votes is the legal representative of their country. There's 49% of the population that disagree with him. They do not even accept him as their representative. Yet, he becomes the representative of their country, and he enacts laws and policies with which not only the 49% disagree, but a major portion of the supporters also disagree. So we accept this as part of any normal human society. People will disagree with laws and regulations.
The Taliban keep promising to reopen schools for teenage girls. So when will that be, I ask?
When will that be?
When the government addresses those problems. This is not one issue. So it's not financial issue that if I get $200 million in my budget, I can address this problem. It's financial, it's infrastructure, it's teachers, it's books, it's resources, it's customs and traditions. It's trying to have a consensus. It's a mix of issues that needs to be addressed. And the important part is, I will stress this again and again and again, the policy. That is very important, what the policy is. The policy of the government is education for all citizens of Afghanistan.
De facto, schools are closed for teenage girls in this country for an entire year already.
They are not closed. They are open in more than a dozen provinces. They are closed in some of the provinces of Afghanistan. And there's a mix of issues which the government is trying to address in order for these to reopen again. This is not a ban, this is not a exclusion, this is none of these other words that some people try to use, some actors try to use and weaponize this issue. This is not an issue that needs weaponizing. It is an issue that needs cooperation. It needs assistance for it to be resolved. But unfortunately, people are taking the other route. But we're hopeful we will address it. This is an internal matter of Afghanistan. We know the benefits and the non-benefits more than any other state or any other nation. We will address it.
Thank you.
Leaving Kabul. By chance, I meet Shirbas Kaminzada, the president of the Afghanistan Industries and Mines Chamber, on the flight. He owns several mines himself.
We are exporting just right now to Pakistan, daily around 8,000 to 10,000 tons. And that's other mine also we have. Recently, the government announced lead mine, and also in Herat province, and also iron mines. This is really a large mine. This is around, as per the estimated, this is around 2 to 4 million ton iron we have.
The big hope is for investors from countries that don't care much about human rights.
Recently, one was signed by Chinese company in this north side for oil, and also I heard within 1 month they will sign the copper mine with Chinese company, the largest copper mine in Afghanistan we have. That is also with a Chinese company. They want to invest more than $7 billion US, 4 to 7 billion US dollar.
The isolation from the West will probably remain. From Afghanistan, where life is marked by deficit, where so much is lacking, I return to a world so many of those I met wished